Hello, this is Grow Your Own with PACE, Practical Actions for Climate and the Environment. I'm Papa John, that's what my grandchildren call me, and my tips today are to do with beetroot, chard and spinach. So three important vegetables. They're actually seaside plants really. You may have seen sea beet on the sea wall. So just to recap on why we're growing our own. Well, we're all confined to barracks at the moment, so it's a nice thing to do and nice to produce fresh food. But it's also to reduce emissions, carbon emissions. 25% of the UK emissions are to do with food, and much of that is to do with importing food, particularly vegetables, say from Kenya and South America or even Mediterranean. So we're going to start with spinach, which is an annual. Popeye ate a lot of spinach, of course, but actually it's not any higher in iron than many other vegetables. Here's the seed, quite large seeds, spinach. The pack open. In fact, all the seeds of these, what we're planting today, are quite large. There they are. Okay, well I'm going to pull out a row in a nice sunny spot here. We're planting the seeds about 1/2 inch deep, so that should do. I'll put in quite a lot of seed so that I can thin them out later. So I'll just firm those in and then cover the row about 1/2 inch. Now annuals like spinach, they want to grow quickly, so we want to get them in the ground, water them, never leave them to get dry. So I just water them in and keep them well watered. So this is chard. There's rainbow chard actually, the yellow one, a red one behind, and there's white ones and so on. So they're quite colourful actually. You can put them in a flower border really, but they're a great vegetable. You can here at this time of year, I think you can still get lovely green leaves, and you can also use the shoots, the stems in a stir fry as well. And they're much easier to grow than spinach. Spinach actually isn't the easiest of crops to grow. You might think it is, seeing how much spinach there is in the shops, but to grow your own is not the easiest, whereas chard is much easier. Well, I think I prefer it actually. So this is last year's chard, still producing vegetables for us now. So it's been in nearly a year. You see here are the young seedlings for this year just coming up. So I recently, well about 3 weeks ago, I sowed those, and you can just see on the stems there the different colours are already showing, the reds, the yellows and the greens. So it's a very versatile crop, is chard, and one that many people who know vegetables grow, but you wouldn't think it in the shops because you don't often get it there. So these aren't quite ready to plant out yet. They need another couple of weeks before they'll be strong enough to plant out. I normally grow them in a tray like this. You can put them straight in the ground. The trouble is straight in the ground, you often lose a lot of them. It's better to get the young seedlings going in a tray where you can protect them and then transplant them out. They transplant out quite well. So our third crop today is beetroot. Here's some young beetroot seedlings. They've been about 4 weeks now since they were sown. I used to sow them straight in the ground. You can do that, of course, straight into a drill in the ground, but often you lose a lot of the young seedlings to pigeons and things like that, or other little beetles, flea beetles and so on. So I tend to grow them in these sort of trays. These are quite good because you can open them up and you can transplant them without disturbing the roots. You can do the same with toilet rolls. I think we showed that once before, didn't we, as well? So that's another technique you can use, but it means that you can, they're not coming out, you can transplant them without disturbing the roots. So I've had these for years actually, these plastic holders. There they hold together quite nicely. Put them in the ground, film them in. So there's the last one. 2 rows quite close together. That's because I'm going to put a cover on in a minute, so I know I need to get them reasonably close together. These can all be used again then next year. Now there's quite a few seedlings in each of those planting points and in each of those holes. Too many in some of them, probably 8 or 10 in some of them, but each of those little points will probably support maybe 3 or 4 beetroot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 30 times say 4 or 5, so that's 100 to 150 beetroot we'll get from that. So I water those in. With all these 3 crops today, it's very important that they don't get dry, because they'll bolt, they'll go to seed if we're not careful. This particular variety of beetroot is called bolt hardy, so it's somewhat resistant to bolting, going to seed, but all the same, keep them well watered. So I need to protect them, particularly from pigeons now, so pigeons would have a go at them, so put these wire cages over them. That'll stop the pigeons. So that's spinach, beetroot and chard. Some more beetroot here to go, these a bit later. And that way you can enjoy beetroot all year round and chard all year round. Spinach will come in a flash.